So we are on our way to being ready to kick things off. Stephen,
Danny, what's up?
What's going on with you, sir?
I'm great, man. I just got in. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. We appreciate you taking out the time to speak to the community. Everybody, I've seen Stephen around a lot of social media circles, helping people to be able to improve their lives through the insurance adjusting craft and profession. So we're definitely glad to have him here. If this is your first time being here, my name is Danny Carter. I'm co-founder of Buy Back the Block LA. We started this group in honor of Nipsey Hussle after he passed away, to continue to spread information and knowledge and to practice group economics, which is something that we learned through Dr. Claude Anderson. So shortly after that time, we created an investment club. We've bought and renovated 3 properties now, just sold the last one at the beginning, actually tail end of April. And we've doubled our initial seed money at this point, and we're going to keep going, following those tenants that we got from Dr. Claude Anderson. So we're here every first Wednesday of the month, or do our best to be, and we try to bring as many people from the community that we feel like are trustworthy as possible to the table to help you guys earn the type of income that you deserve to earn for your 8 hours every day. So then that way you can take the knowledge that we're teaching you in real estate and be able to apply it because you have the income to do so. If you guys want to follow us, please follow us on Instagram. That's our main page. That's Buy Back the Block LA, at Buy Back the Block LA on Instagram. And then you can also follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube. All of the meetups that we've had, those replays are posted within 24 to 48 hours on YouTube. And that's just YouTube/Buy Back the Block LA. So with that being said, I know our brother Stephen has many things going on. I don't want to keep him tied up. So Stephen, I'm gonna go ahead and give you, let me see, co-host, thing abilities. And you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and run with it how you want. And anything that's happening in the chat, I will monitor
Okay.
for you.
Okay. So what's up, guys? My name is Stephen Storey. Danny, I don't know how much you told them about me, so I'm just gonna go from the top, all right?
Okay.
So guys, my name is Stephen Storey. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I got into the insurance industry in 2008 when I was 19 years old. I've been in the industry, in and around it in 3 different positions, which as an insurance salesman, as a bail bondsman, and as an insurance adjuster. And over these last 14 years, it's been a blessing. Insurance has been a blessing for me. I landed in insurance adjusting in 2015. And since then, I have worked 22 deployments. Deployments are what we call a contract for independent adjusters. And so I worked for several different carriers like State Farm, Allstate, Progressive, Federated National. I worked for Allstate Canada in Canada. I worked here in Brazil. I actually live in Brazil now. And I'm here now. Y'all can't see from the background, but I'm down here in Brazil. I've been here for the last 3 years. So I've been working remotely. And now I have several courses where I teach people how to get into the insurance adjusting industry and how to not only get in it, but how to excel in it financially. So tonight, what I want to do, y'all, anything that y'all have never heard of before, if you got any questions, I can stop and just answer whatever you got right here on the spot, okay? So Danny, what specifically do I need to talk about tonight in regards to insurance adjusting? You need to go from the top, what it is and how to get into it, or you want to do some more technical stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a broad overview that you usually do, that would be great. And one thing that we didn't mention that we should, or that I should, is that we actually purchased a course from Stephen that we're going to be giving away to one of you guys today. So Stephen, you just go ahead and run with it how you do, and then if anybody wants to stop you in the chat or whatever else, we'll handle it that way.
Okay, so everybody can hear me. I don't have any interference or anything, right? I got a fan blowing on me.
No, you sound fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's answer a few things. First is, what is independent insurance adjusting? Okay, so independent insurance adjusting is an industry that's been around for about 90 years in the United States and Canada. And independent adjusting is when a insurance carrier like State Farm or Allstate or Progressive, they get behind on claims. So they usually get behind on claims when there's a lot of car accidents or there's a huge natural event like a wildfire, earthquakes, tornadoes, hail season, or hurricane, right? And what happens is they have to handle those claims in a certain amount of time based on good faith. All right. So they have a contract between their clients, the insured, and the insurance carrier. If they don't handle those claims in a certain amount of time, they break the good faith clause and they're fined by the Department of Insurance per claim that's not handled in a certain amount of time. So it's cheaper for them to hire independent adjusters. These are licensed people to help their staff adjusters handle claims in a timely fashion. And they're willing to pay a premium for that. We usually make about 3 times more than what a staff adjuster makes. Okay. Now we make that amount of money because we're helping these insurance companies, these insurance carriers not get fined. And we're also licensed. So we're usually going to be in high demand because it's low numbers, right? Not a lot of people know about independent insurance adjusting. And so because of that, they pay us a lot of money to handle claims responsibly and handle them in a timely fashion, like I said. Now, what insurance adjusting is from there, now you know, like kind of like the basic idea of it. I'll tell you more about what we do on a day-to-day basis. So if you were to get in a car wreck or your toilet overflows in the upstairs bathroom and messes up the downstairs kitchen or something like that, you're gonna call the insurance company and say, hey, my toilet's overflowing, hey, my car had an accident. The person you're talking to on the phone is an insurance adjuster. And they're gonna be looking at your policy, they're gonna be looking at the damage report, right? And they're gonna determine if you have coverage available for that damage, all right? And from there, then they write a check to you if they're gonna pay you. If not, they're right, you'll see in the denial letter. I'm sure y'all have dealt with adjusters in some form or fashion, if you ever had a car wreck or anything like that, okay? Now, when you make those types of decisions, there's money on the line. So we're also responsible for sometimes millions of dollars a month going out based on the checks that we write, whether it's for an auto accident or for homes being damaged. So not only are you in high demand, you're also responsible for millions of dollars. Right. So that's another reason why you get paid a lot of money. Okay. And then the next thing I would say is why we get paid so well as independent insurance adjusters is because you can be fired at will. And because they know that you're risking being fired at will, because once they finish being overflowed, like they're having too many claims to get the claim count down, they're going to release you. Okay. And so they want to compensate you well to work for them for a period of time. You're not going to work for 12 months. For one company, you might work for 3 or 4 companies in the course of the year, but they want to compensate you well to make sure you come, do a good job, and you can leave and come back because they paid you well, right? So those are some of the incentives that insurance carriers have to pay you well, and that's why we get paid well as independent insurance adjusters. Anybody got any questions before I go to the next thing? I don't want to go too fast.
Yeah, I have one in the chat. Let me grab it really quick.
Yeah, I saw that question.
So Kenton asked, you're working insurance adjusting remotely. How does that work? Are you just working deployments as they come up, or are you just working completely working remote?
All right, so that's a great question. There's several types of insurance adjusting. You got remote, you got working in an office, which is a regular deployment. And then you also have what we call field adjusting, when you go out and inspect a property or an automobile in person. All deployments are not remote deployments, okay? Because of the pandemic, there's a lot more remote deployments. 3 or 4 years ago, there was like 5% of deployments were work from home deployments. Now it's more like 30 to 40%, right? But just because it's a work from home deployment does not mean that's the deployment that's going to pay you the most, right? It also doesn't mean that that's the best deployment for you. So it all depends on what you need, all right? And that's what we teach about career strategy, right? So inside my course, I talk about like, okay, this is how we pick which deployment is going to work for us at this time, which ones we need to pass on, which ones we need to wait for a couple weeks before we say yes to. So I would say, you know, because I do have a lot more experience and a lot more connections, I work a lot more work from home deployments. But if I was a new adjuster, I would want to be getting around other people who already knew how to handle claims, because I can just look right next to my left or my right and get help. When you're working from home, you don't really get that benefit. So it can be a bit harder to really learn the ropes of the business and learn the ropes of the software that you use on a day-to-day basis. Danny, there was two other questions. What were they? The first one was a remote one.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
That's all I saw on the chat. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, I know, but I answered just the remote part. It was a 3-part question.
Oh, so it was, the question was, you're working insurance adjusting remotely. How does that work? Which you just broke down. It says, are you just working deployments as they come up, or are you just working completely remote?
Okay, so working deployments as they come up. So do I work the deployments that are offered to me? All right. And so again, that's where strategy comes in at. All right. So like, let's say you have a deployment in Texas, you're living in Florida. You got questions to answer. Do I have the money to pay for hotels and rental cars and things like that? Is this deployment going to benefit me? Is this a skill? Is a new skill I need to learn, or is a new carrier that I want to get? I want to learn their software systems and have, get some experience with them. If yes, then I'm going to Texas. If not, if I already worked out there before, or the pay's not that good, I'm going to stay in my home state. I'm going to stay in Florida. I saw another question, man.
Sorry about that, I was muted. I got one from Bobby. It says, can you work part-time, only work on weekends, nights, etc.?
This job, insurance adjusting, independent adjusting, is a 50-hour minimum a week commitment. So you're not going to work only on the weekends. You're not only going to work nights. If you do this, it's going to be 50 hours minimum per week.
Okay, there it is.
But with that being said, you might not work the entire year. You might work, like, for example, normally I work like 9 months out the year, and I take 3 months off, right? Some people work 6 months out the year. Some people work 3 months out the year. It really just depends on you and what you want.
Okay, so obviously, everybody wants to get to the money, right? What's the income range for a new adjuster? Is the question that just came in.
Well, I'll say the range for the amount of months you work. Okay, so and I've seen, if you can consistently work at least 8 months to 9 months out of the year, you're going to do about $100,000. If you're doing 5 or 6 months out of the year, you can start cutting that in half. 3 months out of the year, you can be doing 40K, 50K if you're doing 3 months. But if you can do over 9 months, what I've seen for most of my students that do over 9 months in a year, they're getting close to 100,000. They're going over 100,000.
Okay. Very good to know. And for everybody that's in the audience watching, you're going to spend those 8 hours no matter what for the day. So you might feel like, hey, it's going to take some work for me to get to that point. Hey, it's going to take this or that. But hey, you're giving those hours away right now if you have a 9 to 5 to somebody else. And we know that these jobs currently are underpaying us for what our value is and what we bring to the table and to these companies to help them improve. So you might want to seriously consider it. You're going to have to spend the 8 hours anyway to feed yourself. Why not take the most money home by the time you finish those 8 hours? Okay, I'm back in the chat. I have, I got Biggs. What's up, Biggs? It says, I have an insurance license. How do you get into being an adjuster?
You need an insurance adjuster's license. That's how you're going to do it. So you probably have a producer's license to sell insurance, but that is completely different from an insurance adjusting license. So you would need to get certified. I mean, you have to get your license. So you have to take a pre-licensing course. You have to pass a state license exam to get your independent insurance adjusting license. That's how you're going to do it.
Okay. And then Ken has a follow-up question that says, what certifications are required to become an adjuster?
All right, so the first one is get your license. All right, get your state license. So if you live in Texas, you gotta get your Texas state license. If you live in New York, you gotta get your New York state license. There's 34 states that require you to have a license. So like in those 34 states, if you live there currently, it's your resident state, you're gonna have to study and take an exam in that state. There are 16 states that are not licensed. You have to do a designated home state license. When you do a designated home state, you're going to pick between Texas, Indiana, and Florida. Okay. Now, from there, once you get a license, your first license, I suggest that my students get 5 licenses. And then from there, I suggest that they get on IA firms so they can get access to when the next certifications are going to be. So State Farm has certifications. Liberty Mutual sometimes has certifications. Federated National has certifications. Different insurance carriers have different certifications that they want from you. And there's different times of the year where those certifications are available. Usually they're free, but some of them are not free. There's also a estimating software called Xactimate, which we use as adjusters, we use to construct houses in a like a 3D software environment. That's a system we use, and that's how we make estimates. And you don't want to get certified on that too. That's not free. But those are just some of the certifications that you can get. There's a lot of certifications out there in this field, but those are some of the ones to start with.
Okay. You want to pick it up and keep rolling from there?
All right. So now we talked about like what you need to do to become an adjuster, and then we talked about what is adjusting, right? And then we talked about the pay range, right? I would say the next thing would just be like the opportunity, right? So like, what do you need to become an insurance adjuster? Like as far as the qualifications, and it's like this: you need a high school diploma or a GED. You do not need a college degree. All right. You can't have a felony that involves theft. Okay. So like larceny, theft, financial crimes, things like that. Things involving moral turpitude, things like that. You can't be an adjuster if you have those type of felonies. But if you have a drug felony or something like that, contact the Department of Insurance for your state to find out if you're eligible. All right. What I found is that it's going to cost, give or take, $1,000 to get into the business, but you're going to make that back in the first week, or less than the first week on your first job. You know, so I think that for the amount of money you're putting into the business, to be able to put out $100,000 every year after that, it's, if you don't have a college degree, like this is how you get to college, you know, to these big 6-figure numbers. You know, in my 5 years in this business, I've done over $100,000 every single year, and I dropped out of college. You know, I don't have a college degree. I got my license, I got my certifications, and I started putting in some effort. You know, had to make some sacrifices, obviously, we all do. But I think as a young Black person, why waste your time just, you know, messing around making 40K? Like, if you want to be wealthy in this life, it's best to start making money early. You know, you start making like, you need to be making, like, I started making $100,000 at like 27. You know what I'm saying? 26, 27. I'll start doing over 6 figures. And that changed the trajectory of my life, you know? And so when I see people that's like, you know, 29, 30, 31, 32, and they're still, you know, still struggling, and especially people that have college degrees, they're still struggling. I'm like, yo, like, come over here. Yeah. Come over here and let's finish that up. Let's finish the struggle up, and let's start focusing on how to just, you know, put money back and start getting ready for the next part of our financial futures.
Okay, good deal. Ken has a question. He says, what are some strategies / tips for brand new adjusters right after certification?
I got all that in my course. It's all in my course.
There it is.
That's all in my course. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we go deep into strategy, and it works. You know, we have 250 people hired last year. 5 people became managers last year. We had 5 people that also made over $100,000. We had a guy do $40,000 in a month. We had a couple people do $30K in a month. Several do $20K. Over 100 do $10K in a month. You know what I'm saying? So like the strategies that we talk about in the course are gold. You know, and I would have to just say my course to tell you all the strategies and tips.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, you know, I know, you know, Stephen is leaving some of that behind the wall, but that's good, because if you guys really want to do this and you really want to change your life, and you're hearing this and you're saying, man, you know what, Danny, Stephen are right. I'm not getting paid enough. I need to level up so I can make some bigger moves. And that starts with you investing in yourself, right? And, you know, if you're willing to put that time and effort in and money to be able to buy the knowledge, it's going to benefit you. And one thing I just want to mention about people who have taken their knowledge and the time to organize it for you in the course, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for everything that you need being bundled in one location. So yes, you can probably figure out the majority of what you need about any subject online. Absolutely, you can. But you're going to
Take a long
spend
time.
so much time digging around trying to find it, and them taking their knowledge and taking the time to actually organize it in a easy to digest fashion is what you're invested in. So, Tiffany asks, do you have a checklist to follow?
I don't do a checklist. It's all spelled out for you, right? So like how my course is set up in modules. So like, you're gonna listen to one module, you're gonna do everything in that module. Then the next thing, boom, the next thing. It's like 5 or 6 modules, right? And then from there, we have a private group, right? Well, everybody who's taking the course is inside that group. And so everybody's there to help each other get hired and answer. They go back and forth talking to each other, answering each other's questions, right? But I give you a full step-by-step plan on how to get licensed and get hired and then go out and make a bunch of money.
Beautiful. So you got a community that comes along with the course, so you kind of have a little bit of a mastermind going on as well.
Well, it's not a little bit of mastermind. It's 2,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not a little mastermind. No, it's just thousands of people.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So that's a real mastermind right there.
Yeah, it's a serious mastermind. Yeah.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a long. We've been doing this for a while now. You know, so this has been since 2020. So it ain't like some fly by night. We just got started last week type of thing. Like we've done thousands. We got thousands of students inside. You know, we got people working all over the United States.
That's beautiful, man. Chandra wants to know where you are located. He's in Brazil.
Salvador, Brazil.
There it is. So my question is, okay, so say, I was attending this and I was asking myself, all right, do I want to get started? I think I do. I'm gonna go ahead and invest. What am I looking at in terms of going from 0 to 60, from day one of buying a course to day one on the job?
Okay, so first things first, you're gonna take my course. Next thing, you're gonna do a pre-licensing course. Depending on how fast you learn and can pass the test will determine how fast it takes you to finish that pre-licensing course. I've seen people doing it as fast as 3 days. I've seen people they never finish it, but 30 to 45 days is usually about what we'll see as far as pre-licensing. From there, people go ahead and take a licensing test depending on the state. Some states are harder than others, but you can't pick. If you're one of the 34 states we talk about, you got to take your home state license test. So some people have open book at home tests. Some people have to go to an exam location to take it. It just depends. From there, once you get pre-licensed and then licensed, you'll do a background check and fingerprints. After that, you'll get on some IA firms roster list. And then after that, you'll begin applying you'll just put your resume out, and then they'll start giving you calls, and you'll start getting interviewed. You start getting interviewed for jobs, and when I'm gonna say yeah, then you get hired, and then you start working from there. You accept the deployment. They'll give you a dollar amount for how much they're gonna give you. How many hours you're gonna work per week, and you start working. They'll train you a little bit, but after that, that's it. You're on the job, man.
Okay. And then as far as, because I know you said that the tests vary in difficulty from state to state, right?
Correct.
But I'm pretty sure with a mastermind the size of yours, there are people who are in the majority of the states that require a test that can help guide people along the way, right?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: you can't pass the test, you don't need to be an adjuster. Just straight up and down. Like, yes, there are thousands of people inside, but like you got to carry your own water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not even like it's not an academic test in the sense that like you got to pass, right? You got to make a 70 at least to pass it. 70 in some states and 80 in other states. But even with that, like if you can't pass it on your own, you got bigger problems.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so from a personality trait standpoint, like what are some qualities that you should have or you should develop if you don't already have to be a successful adjuster?
Well, I would say you gotta be flexible. You gotta be able to adjust. That's one of the main things in this business. Like an adjuster, you gotta be adjustable. All right, you gotta be able to adjust other people's personality, right? when people call insurance adjusters, it's not because the sun is shining. It's because something terrible happened. They were in a car wreck. They, you know, a hurricane blew the roof off. The house burnt down. They got robbed. The house got vandalized. You know, the house got flooded. Things like that. So these people are gonna be calling you in high stress. So you gotta be able to be empathetic to that. And sometimes they're gonna be cussing at you. They might not be cussing you out. They're gonna be cussing at you. And you gotta remember, hey, this person doesn't have a roof and they got 3 kids in the house. And they don't know what they're gonna be eating at and sleeping at. Things like that. You gotta be able to pay attention to detail. You know, people like to lie in this business. People who are insured, they like to lie. Contractors, they like to lie. You know, you gotta talk to lawyers. Lawyers, they like to really push you, you know, so like, you gotta stay focused on the details, right? I think that has helped a lot of people become very successful in this business. And then you gotta be able to read well. You gotta be able to read for understanding.
Okay. I think we ran through all the questions in the chat. You want to keep going, or?
Hey, look, I do this all the time. So like, I'm really kind of just letting y'all I want everybody kind of get a chance to ask questions and kind of free form, because like I can go several ways with these conversations, you know. Yeah. I just want to make sure y'all got an understanding of what this is, you know, like it's an opportunity to go out here and make 6 figures. How much is the course? My course is $97. Okay. It's $97. It ain't nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Right. I want to meet people where they are.
If you're not willing to invest that into yourself, I mean, do you really deserve to level up? If you're not willing to invest $97 into yourself, I can probably go through your closet right now and find something that you spent more than $97 on that you don't even use anymore.
Well, you know, like for me, I don't even look at it as a $97. I look at it as like you deserve $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think. I think about it like, yo, you deserve $100,000 a year. I know everybody that's watching this has worked really hard before, all right? And you work really hard, you make $35,000. Like, what the fuck is that about? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put my pants on for $35,000 a year, let alone work. You know? And so like, for me, it's like, yo, let's get Black people out of low-paying jobs. Let's get us into high-paying jobs. Yeah. If we can get to high-paying jobs, we can have a different reality. And it's not because other people are better than us, or they're more educated than us, or they're harder working than us. I think all of us that are listening to this right now are all qualified, you know, to make that kind of money, right? Like I had 2 young guys. One guy, he was 22, he had a 3-month-old son. And, you know, him and their mama, they doing their thing. And I said, he called me and said, Steve, man, you know, I spent my last little money on this course. I said, what's the most amount of money you made? He said, the most I ever made was $10 an hour. Woo! And this was August last year, you know. And so he gets licensed and everything, him and his friend, his homeboy. And they got hired and they were making $3,100 a week. I'm sorry.
Wow.
$3,100 a week, you know, and that's for making $10 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like he moved his family out of, they were living in a trailer, dog. Like I'm telling y'all for real, I got a million testimonies, by the way. I can post a testimony every single day. I will repeat, but that's one that was special to me. You know, this is a young family. This is 2 young families, 2 young guys. They're under the age of 23. They don't have a lot of money. They got a young child at home. And how many Black families have separated because of money? You know,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to go back home to mama's house, but you can't come with me. So me and the kid can get taken care of. You got to handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, if it ain't for you, maybe it's for somebody else. You know, you don't got to be an insurance adjuster, but maybe you need to pass this along to somebody else. You don't got to get my course. You know what I'm saying? But you need to understand that there's an option out there that can help Black people get into a industry that's on the other side of banking. Insurance and banking are 2 sides of the same coin, by the way. And if we can get into an industry where, and it also gives other thing about insurance adjusting, guys, the insurance industry is aging out. Most of the industry, like 40% of the industry is gonna be retired in 10 years. They gotta be replaced by somebody. Or they're gonna be replaced by a bunch of white people or a bunch of Black people. And so my goal is, let's get as many Black people into this as possible, right? Before they start changing up requirements. Mm-hmm. You know? And so that's why I push this thing so hard. That's why I try to tell as many people about this as possible. right? It ain't about me selling the course. It's like, yo, I was so happy somebody told me about this when I was 27. I was like, yo, I wish somebody told me about this when I was 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And so now with social media the way it is, now I can really tell these people. Before I was telling people on the internet, I was stopping people at restaurants. If I saw a manager that was cool or a waiter that seemed interesting or smart, I'm like, yo, you don't have to do this no more.
Yeah.
You know, you can go do what I'm doing. You know, so I'm telling all y'all the same thing. You know, try to give as many people that opportunity as possible.
That's the way, man. Each one teach one. Latanya hit me and said, oh, do you know the requirements for California specifically?
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to get licensed in California. You're gonna get it in Texas.
Really?
Yeah, new adjuster. You cannot be a new adjuster in the state of California and get a license. You gotta have 2 years experience to be an independent adjuster. So usually my students go through the state of Texas.
Wow. Okay, man, that's a gem right there. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you're not gonna be no independent adjuster in California.
Okay. So you just would reach out to them, obviously by phone, email, whatever, and do everything remotely. Do you actually have to visit the state of Texas to take that test?
No, it's not like that. I explain it inside the group.
Yep.
I've helped dozens of Californians do this already, but yeah, we explain that in the course.
Okay, that's
But that's the only way you're gonna do it. You gotta go through the state of Texas or the state of Florida, but you're not gonna become an independent adjuster as a new person in the state of California with a California license.
got it. Okay, let me see. Tiffany asked, are you a contracted provider or are you hired with one company?
It's a great question. And I'm gonna explain this. So IA firms, independent adjusting firms, are essentially staffing agencies that only work with independent insurance adjusters. Now they contract you to work for insurance carriers like Progressive or State Farm or Liberty Mutual. Okay, you'll work for them for a time as a contractor, right, on deployment, and then once that contract ends, you'll go to the next carrier through an IA firm. Okay, that's how that works.
Okay, so the IA firm, how does the financial relationship work with them? Do they take a cut of your earnings for booking you on the job, or do they get that from the insurance provider?
So you will never see how much the full amount you get paid, right? So like whatever the dollar amount you're getting paid, you don't know. You get paid what you get paid, but there is a cut. There is a 60-40 cut, usually. Sometimes more, just depends. But that's really neither here nor there. They get a part of it, you get a part of it.
Right. So the number you get quoted is the number that you're going to pocket. The rest you shouldn't be worried about.
Correct.
Because
yes. So they say you're getting paid $36 an hour. Don't worry about what they're getting paid. You get paid $36 an hour.
Got it. Okay. Chandra asks, is the course scheduled or work at your own pace?
Work at your own pace. As soon as you get the course, you can start working on it immediately.
Okay. Latanya asked, do you know how much the state tests are? I guess she's asking about Texas, but she's in California.
All right. So there's 34 states. Okay. 34 states that require licensing. That's 34 different states that have pricing on it. I don't know all those numbers off the top of my head. All right. But there is a website called adjusterpro.com, adjusterpro, adjusterpro.com. You can go there and you will see how much it costs for your state.
All right, there it is. So Tonda wanted to ask, she said, is Georgia independent friendly also? All
right, so there are 50 states in the United States. They're all independent friendly, okay? Because all states, you're eligible to work as an independent insurance adjuster, right? I've worked in Atlanta several times, as have a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends are working in Atlanta right now. I worked all over Georgia, all over Florida, all over Texas, all over Alabama, all over the East Coast, and the Midwest. So yeah, the United States is independent adjuster friendly.
Okay, all right. Tiffany asked, do you negotiate the rate?
That's a great question. New adjusters don't know enough to even be valuable enough to negotiate anything. I won't even be talking about negotiating a rate until like year 3 or 4. And then from there, that comes with showing how good you are to these insurance carriers and to your IA firm. But new adjusters got to take what they get because they're not proven.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Tyler, for dropping adjusterpro.com in the chat for everybody. Glenda wanted to know, where do we get this course?
All right, so Danny, I don't know if you got any my social media link at all on here.
Your social media?
Yeah, because they asked where you get my course at.
I can get it right now. Give me a quick second. You want me to direct them to your Twitter?
Any of my social media is going to have my link to the course.
Okay.
But if you got me on Twitter or Instagram, either one, it's gonna go. The link in my bio is gonna go straight to my course. If you're on Twitter, guys, my username is my first and last name together, and you can go to the link in my bio there. Danny, if you could just find one of my links and just post it in the chat, that story links.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, if you go there, you'll see becoming an independent insurance adjuster. You can click there. You can see that I got 119 5-star reviews. So yeah, it's a ton of testimonials there. So whatever, and I also have an FAQ there as well. So any question I don't answer tonight, guys, you can get the frequently asked questions for free. I also have a webinar that's 30 minutes long. You can get that for free as well. In the same place you get my course at. Crystal, you got your hand raised. Crystal D.
Go ahead, unmute, Crystal. I'm dropping the links in the chat now.
Hey, Shanae, how you doing? I see you with them glasses. Hope you having a good day today. Awesome. Crystal, what's up? Your mic on mute. What's going on?
Let's see if I can.
And while we let on Crystal unmute, a couple things about the course, guys. It is no fluff inside the course. I'm not telling stories. I'm not, just talking about a bunch of random stuff. I'm like really, really straightforward. It's bam, 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 bam. Do this, do this, do this, do this. It works every single time. And whatever that you miss or you don't understand, we got a group with thousands of people, y'all. Thousands of people that look just like you. They're inside there. They've had similar situations to you. They're probably in the same state as you. And they've worked for a lot of different companies that you might want to work for. So it's not only me that can help you. We got thousands inside that can help you as well.
Beautiful. Let's jump to Shanae while we're waiting on Crystal to figure out her audio system.
Shanae on there.
You said you can't mute?
Nah, she ain't want none. She just raised her hand by accident.
Oh, she didn't want to.
But I'm like, did I raise my hand? I didn't realize I raised it. Maybe I tapped it on accident. I'm sorry.
That's all good. That might be what's going on with Crystal too. Crystal might have raised hers on accident. I'm gonna lower.
Tonda meant to. She got the black hand. Tonda meant to raise her hand.
You got that right. I'm very intentional about my hand raising.
Hey, what's up?
So I apologize, I'm late to the call, but I'm a realtor in LA, and I was wondering, is this similar to, because I remember a couple of years ago looking into getting on with, just from a realtor point and being licensed, getting on with FEMA to do different things. Is this similar to that?
FEMA and insurance adjusting, like it's like government insurance adjusting, right? So like independent adjusters work for insurance carriers, right? But when you work for FEMA, you're essentially adjusting for the government, right? For whatever government program they have. I've worked for FEMA before. I worked for the state of Texas before as well. So yes, but no, right? I do know some people who do work for FEMA, and they also had their toes in the insurance adjusting as well. But you're gonna make more money being an adjuster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Somebody asked if you got to travel to be an adjuster, all right? And I'm gonna answer that question. The pandemic changed a lot of things in this industry. So when I started, I was traveling all the time. I lived in 15 cities as an adjuster. Y'all don't have to do that no more because things have changed so much. So there are remote positions available. If you live in Texas, if you live in Georgia, if you live in Florida, and like North Carolina, some places like that, California even, there's a lot of insurance adjustment that goes on in those states specifically. So usually people who live there don't usually have to move around a lot, right? This is pre-pandemic. Things are different now because of the pandemic. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. Things are a bit different, but from what I see, my students are not traveling as much as I did. Okay, they'll travel for some deployments, but usually they don't travel. Now, as far as Danny, can you read me that question?
Which
Crystal,
one?
I think that was Crystal who just wrote that.
Yeah, Crystal. So I got a quick question about the last thing you said about FEMA because I didn't
Yeah.
quite. You said there's no bread in the FEMA game.
I didn't say no. I just know how to get to six figures, and I know how to do it through insurance adjusting as an independent adjuster for insurance carriers, not for FEMA.
Got you.
Okay. I'm not saying no bread in it. I just know a whole lot more people that made a lot of money doing what I'm doing.
Yep. Understood. Crystal, I got a DM, and then Crystal also said when people need to move longer term for a fire, is there a department that finds housing for them to rent? If so, how can you get on that list?
All right, so it's a great question. It's a two-part answer. So this goes back to strategy, right? So you need to decide when they tell you the job, right? They interview you and they say, "Hey, Danny, I want to give you this job," right? And they say, "We're going to pay you X amount of dollars. How long is this deployment going to last? It's going to last this amount of time, this many days, weeks, months, whatever. Can you be here?" You need to think about that before you say yes or no, right? This goes back to what we talked about. You know, do you just take what they give you? If it's on the other side of the country, I know it's going to be 6 months, and I know I got rent here and I got family here, whatever, I got to say no. Okay, so first thing is you got to be okay with that, with living elsewhere, right? The next thing is they have per diem usually. So if you travel more than 150 miles away from the site, the work site, you're gonna get paid per diem 9 times out of 10. Everybody doesn't do it, but 9 times out of 10 they do. Okay, so they pay you like $150 extra a day to take care of like room and board, things like that. Okay. Now, with that being said, no, they do not look for housing for you. All right. One thing I teach my students is the main operating word in independent adjusting is independent. You are not a staff member, so they're not going to help you in that regard. They're going to pay you well so you can pay rent somewhere or a hotel or whatever, but like they're not going to go look for a place for you. That's going to be up to you.
Got it. Okay. Her second part of her question was, as an adjuster, are you doing everything like auto, fire, etc.?
Hold on, say it again. Doing everything like what now?
Are you doing everything such as auto, fire, etc.?
Correct. Yeah. You're eligible to do anything, right? Now, every deployment is not going to be everything. So they might call you and say, "Hey, Crystal, we got an auto deployment for you. You're only going to be doing auto." Or they might say we have auto total loss. So that means you're only dealing with total loss car accidents, right? Or they might say, "Hey, Crystal, we got a job for you handling hail claims, right? Or flood, or wind-driven rain, or contents, right? Personal injury." Read several different things, right? But usually they're going to explain to you what they want you to do when they're on the call with you offering the job. But I've done auto, I've done property, I've done personal injury, I've done PIP, I've done contents, flood, I've done a lot of different things, but I did it through time, right? I didn't do a bunch of things all at the same time.
Okay, so were all those separate certifications that you had to get, or was it all part of your training to get licensed?
All right, that's a great question too. So you're gonna get an overview of everything when you're getting licensed. Not how to do it, just the regulations and rules around it, right? But with time and certifications, you can, I'm not saying you will, but you can learn all those things. Now again, keep in mind that's 5 years and you're working 9 months or more per year, right? So that's my career stretched out, and I was able to do several different types of insurance adjusting.
Got it. Okay. Toya hit me and said, if we get licensed in Texas and have an opportunity to do an adjustment in another state outside of Texas, do we have to get licensed in that particular state as well?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If it's one of those 34 states that requires a license, you got to be licensed in that state too. So usually my students have five licenses, 5 to 8 licenses. I like for them to start out with 5. Because states licenses are reciprocal. So if you have 5 licenses and they all have some other states that are reciprocal, you can handle claims in like 20 something states with 5 licenses. You know,
Yeah.
as you pick up more licenses, you can handle more states because you have more reciprocal states to those licenses.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, similar to how real estate licenses work.
Yeah, similar.
Okay. I think we've run through all the questions. If you guys don't have anything else left for my brother, I'm gonna go ahead and let him go. I know it's late out there already.
Hey, look, man, ain't no rush. You know, I ain't no rush. I want to make sure y'all get, because what I know about this is like, especially if you don't have a frame of reference for insurance, it's like, yo, what the hell is that? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean cars? What do you mean like houses? You know what I'm saying? Like, but what I will say is, you know, you don't have to be a car buff to work auto claims. You don't have to be deep into the construction industry to understand how to see damage on a house, you know? And also I would say that like, yes, 50 hours can sound crazy, but once you realize you're making like $36 an hour for the first 40 hours, and then you're doing time and a half for the last 20 hours, you know, the second 20 hours, the second 10 hours, yo, you like, yo, I'm making $2,500 a week. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I'll see my students, they'll gripe in the beginning, like, yo, this is kind of hard. And they get paid the first week, and they get paid again, they get paid again. It's like, yo, like, I paid all my bills in my first paycheck, and I still got money left over.
Yeah. I mean, and it's again, it's gonna be 8 hours out of your life, 40 hours out of your week anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen anyway. If you gotta eat and pay rent, you're gonna do that time somewhere anyway. So you would be a fool really to do it for half the amount that you're actually worth by choice. Why would you do that?
And then the other thing I would like to tell y'all as well is like, if any of y'all think that climate change is going away, it's not. If any of y'all think that hurricanes are gonna stop hitting America, wildfires are gonna stop, car accidents gonna stop anytime soon, hail, floods, you think that's gonna stop anytime in the near future? No, it's never gonna stop. As long as we have weather on this earth, it's gonna be weather that damages property that humans have, specifically property that we have insured. And so as long as we know that, we're betting on the weather here. It's like betting on the sun coming tomorrow. It's gonna happen. So this is an industry that's not controlled by the economy. When the pandemic hit, that's when all my students got hired. When everybody else was getting fired and they couldn't work nowhere, all my students was getting hired because there's a ton of hurricanes. There's a ton of hail going on. You know, hail season was crazy during the pandemic, you know? So it's like in other industries where people were shrinking and having to lay people off and, you know, everybody got to stay at home and nobody work. We were like, you know, balls to the wall the entire time, you know? So it's like, it ain't about what you're doing. Like, look, you might be a nurse right now, you might be in real estate right now, you might be doing something right now, and it's all good. But it might be a time when that thing slows down. You can have something in your back pocket. You ain't got to do this right now, you know, but you can have something. You can have a 6-figure parachute. All right. Shit hit the fan in my career. Let me go over here and do this right quick and get back up. You know, and that's what insurance just can be.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up the point about climate change, because I read an article about a year ago, and without going into the specifics of the science, what they're saying is that climate change is causing for these natural disasters, especially that are happening in the coastal regions, Carolinas, et cetera, Florida, to become more intense. So if anything, you know, we're going to be looking at probably more and more need, because it's going to be greater and greater damage as time goes on. So, you know. Greg asked, do you have to renew licenses after a certain period of time? Like, does it expire?
Some states require once per year. Some require once every 2 years during your birth month. So like, for example, for me, I have licenses that are due next month. I need to continue education to renew it. So you have to do CE to renew your licenses usually.
Okay, there it is. So, man, this has been a good conversation, man. Thank you again so much for taking the time out. To everybody who's in the audience, I'm going to assign each one of you guys a number, and I'm going to put it in a random number picker, and that number will pick the winner of the free course, and I will announce it in the email that goes out tomorrow with the link to the replay. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I feel like we got a lot out of Stephen tonight. Stephen, you got anything you want to say on the way out the door?
Hey, I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for listening, taking out time with y'all day to hear something new. It might sound crazy, it might not, I don't know, but I appreciate it anyway.
There it is, man. All right. Well, until next time, y'all, thank you for tapping in, and appreciate you, Stephen. And we'll get that free course out the door to everybody. Replay will be out tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Danny, I'm going to call you.
Okay.